So the whole purpose of me going with the Helix is not only is it good just for my guitar setup, but I'm also able to control Ableton from it. Now right now I don't have kind of the wires set up the way it's supposed to be, but what I've done is within Helix I've changed the ins and outs and to where they get separate. So when I have the USB plugged in, which I do into the Helix as an audio interface for me. And I've set it up to where the quarter-inch outs, the XLR outs are only going to be sending audio that's coming from Ableton, where my quarter-inch outs are going to my amp. So I could have completely two separate signal paths going, one for pads and one for guitar. And so typically I would run the quarter-inch out to my amp, and then you'll see two additional XLRs coming out of there going to the house, and so that there's two separate levels and everything. This is basically the pads that I have set up right now. A couple scenes going on in there, but mainly it's the songs that we're looking at as the titles, the BPMs, tab signatures, and those BPMs in there, they actually even change the tempo of my Helix as well. So all my delays and everything is pretty much in sync. So if you look at it closely down here, the way I set it up, and I spent a lot of time kind of figuring this out, was my whole top row is basically saying, you know, play the next track, whatever it is, go back to the previous track, stop it, or turn the click on and off. And then beneath it, what I've set up is I've done it to where these are snapshots where it pulls up certain settings. I have an intro setting, a verse setting, a chorus setting, and a bridge setting. That way, for me, I push one button and all of these settings change. For example, this is my setup for the intro. If I go to the verse, you see some turn off, some turn on. If I go to the bridge, you know, you see multiple turn on. And if I wasn't that way and it was in regular pedalboard mode, it's a lot of tap dancing. I'm pushing more pedals, you know, trying to push more pedals at a time. Where I push one button right here from the bridge, everything changes. One button controls many. It's another cool feature, so it's less time pushing buttons and focus, and I could actually play what I want to do. So I'll show you an example. This is Relentless. I do have an external expression pedal that I usually run by the side, but just because of table space, I just put it on top for now. And you'll kind of get an idea of how I'm running this for what we're doing, because right now for the first couple, for a few of our sets, we're not going to have a dedicated keyboard player. So the goal was for me to control Ableton while playing guitar, and it's working out really well. So this is kind of an idea. So I'm going to trigger the first pad, and my expression pedal, I had as just a master filter for just the master filter for all my pads. So we will set the surface like this. I pretty much go ahead and trigger playing it. In everyone's ears, you would hear a click. And if we ever fall off time or it's not working out, I could just easily turn the click off from just playing guitar. But we would start off, I'd slowly kind of bring it in. And then once the drums come in, we kind of come in together. For the verses to kind of clean it up, go to my verse setting, and then I would start with and then as I'm doing that, we're getting bigger for the bigger parts, easily go back up, scroll into it, and then the chorus setting. Back down, then we have a bridge setting we can also throw in there as well. come back to the chorus and everything changes and I'm able to control all that. So we will end big. And then get the next song ready. All I gotta do is that. And what you can't see in Ableton is the next song is ready to go. Push play next. And you can't see it, but my tempo changed in there as well. So it's going with the track. I just go to the next preset. And it's Holy Spirit. And again, I have all new presets basically. And I can just start the song however I want it. Same time, if it's too bright in the house, back it off a little bit, make it softer. And what's nice about having this as a filter instead of a volume is I control the brightness and dark it gets, but all the way down, it's pretty much a volume pedal at the same time. Where with the filter all the way down, there's not really any signal coming through. So that's kind of a trick that I've learned with kind of, instead of it just being a very bright pad, I can control it with still control over the volume. Or sometimes I'll even start a set just like this. And actually what I do is, for the next song is a different key, we're going from the key of D to E, I can pretty much stop it. And what I'm going to do is get this off, and I'll start the next one, and it's going, just again, the filter's down, that way it's a seamless key change. And if I change to the Reckless Love preset, my tempo changes, my delays are on time. So I had a pog there, I have bigger delays. So these snapshots are turning on so many more stuff at the same time than everything else. So that's kind of something that I'm real excited about, is my new setup. Makes everything work perfectly while from all playing guitar.